Hello, welcome to Suicide Support Community. If you're watching for the first time, my name is Robin Chodak, and I am the founder of this community back in 2005. And if you've been joining me for all those years, I'm really grateful that you're here with me. And today I have a guest that I'm going to interview, and I want you to meet her. Her name is Linda Findlay. And Linda became a bereaved mother when she lost her infant daughter. And Linda's journey through grief led her to become a grief support facilitator. And Linda is an aftercare coordinator for over 200 funeral homes that span across 25 states. That's pretty amazing. And Linda is also a lay Christian counselor in South Carolina. So Linda does amazing things. In addition to that, Linda is the founder of the Journeys of Hope, Healing, and Health. So I'm going to bring Linda on here right now. Hey, Linda.
Hi, Robin.
Nice to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day, because all the things you're doing, it's amazing. And the other thing I forgot to mention is that Linda has worked since 1999 with thousands of grieving families. That's pretty amazing, Linda.
Families.
Yes. Yeah. And so why I wanted to talk with you today with my support group is to let people know that there's going to be a bereavement cruise coming up in March of 2019. And I am very excited about that. And I understand that, if you're watching this and you have just lost a loved one, particularly to suicide, that is the farthest thing from your mind. But it's important to begin to think about yourself, take care of yourself, because that's what's really important in recovery. So this is a good opportunity to just put that in your mind, because it's 7 months from now, right, Linda? About 7 months, yeah.
6 months, in September 3rd, will be 6 months out from the cruise.
It's good to begin to think about this, because hopefully, in the grieving process, you'll feel differently within 6 months. And we would love for you to join this cruise with us. And as I would in particular, because it's my first time, and I'm honored to be on this cruise, and I'm so thrilled to meet you in person, Linda.
Yes, I feel the same way. Yep.
So this is your third annual cruise, correct?
Yes, this is our third cruise. This will be our third cruise going out March 3rd to the 10th.
Okay.
Yes.
And Glenn Lord is also a founder with you, or he works with you?
Glenn Lord and I are what we call co-creators of the Journeys of Hope, Healing, and Health program, which is the programming that is provided on board while we're on our cruise. So he came on board after the first cruise, and obviously he went on the last one, which was in February of this year, and will be on the next one and going forward. So yeah, our co-creator.
Oh, well, wonderful. Well, we'll say hi to Glenn. Hi, Glenn. If you'll watch later, we want to say hi, and I'm looking forward to meeting you as well, Glenn. But Linda, can you say why you believe this would be important for someone that has lost a loved one? I mean, I know that there's, a few of us that will be talking a little bit about suicide, but just in general, why this cruise is good for someone.
I believe that the cruise is just another opportunity for people who are grieving to come together with like-minded people and experience an event that is going to include all types of support for their grief. It doesn't matter how long it's been since their loved one died. It doesn't matter what type of loss it was, but we have, people, as you know, we have 20 presenters coming with us on this next cruise who are there for the entire week to help support our group. And then we combine that with being on a beautiful cruise. And I think what it ends up doing, and what it has done, especially the last two, is that it helps us to learn that grief and joy can coexist together. And I think when you're in new grief, you don't see that. You think that you're never going to feel any better. So this is another one of those opportunities to to participate in something that is going to help you to maybe gain some more coping skills, to be amongst other people who are on or have been on the same journey that you're on. And it takes away all of that other part of, well, I can't go away when my loved one died, because that just dishonors their memory or whatever the thought may be. So it takes all of that away. You're amongst your people. And it just really has been very successful. I've often said, cruise and bereavement just don't even really sound well together. But when you think about it, it really is. There's a lot to be said about, being out on the ocean and being at some beautiful ports of call and experiencing that with people who are grieving and people who are very much qualified to support that type of group of people. So that's kind of like in a nutshell, as far as how beneficial I think it could be for people who participate.
Yes. And that was beautifully said, Linda. And I think too, there'll be on this cruise, there'll be people that are maybe new, to their loss, and then there'll be others that have been our way out. And so, you can look at them and get inspiration from them, because they've worked through it and they're in a different place in their journey. I would not have thought that I would be able to talk about loving life 13 years ago when Steve died by suicide. It was not in my realm, not in my existence whatsoever. So I understand where people are coming from at that moment. They're in a really tough place, but I also understand that, when you get with like-minded people, like you said, you feel encouraged, and not only that, it's self-care, right? Isn't it?
It is very much so self-care, because not only do you have an opportunity to learn from our presenters, we also have other types of activities that are going to be available for our group, everywhere from Reiki, yoga, aromatherapy, art projects, or art therapy. I like to say that we're more about a message of hope. And people would think that, is this a doom and gloom? We're going to sit and cry for 7 days. That is not what this is about. We really are about a message of hope. And we want people to know, as you've just said, that when you're in grief for the beginning of your journey, you don't feel that sense of hope or that your life can be any better. And so that's kind of what our theme is, to provide that hope so that you will heal, so that you will have better health down the road. Because as we probably all know, if you're not coping with things, that affects you and affects your health in the long run,
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Actually, I just got a comment. We have someone live with us. Hello, Stephanie. I'm reading her comment. She said she just lost a friend a week ago to suicide. No warning signs or anything. What are the main things to watch for? Left with so many unanswered questions. Stephanie, I'm so very, very sorry for your loss. And, oftentimes there are no warning signs or anything. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. And what are the main things to watch for? Well, there's a lot of suicide awareness out there. They try to educate us about suicide, but it's not a cookie cutter formula. And there's so many times there are no warning signs. There's just not. And I understand you're left with so many unanswered questions. Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you found this page, Stephanie. And, even for you, you might want to think about coming on this cruise. I know it's so recent, but I'm glad you're here. And there's a lot of support out there, not just with me, but a lot of people. And I'm glad you're joining us. And again, I'm really so very sorry for your loss. It's shocking. It's very shocking. When you lose a loved one to suicide, it's very shocking. And it's very complicated grief. And, Linda, you work with grieving families all over. You've done this for many, many years, and you see the gamut of what happens when people grieve and have to go through these experiences. And that's why I'm glad you put this together. This is so important to do what you're doing, because it's your message, my message is about hope and transformation. And that's what this cruise is, it's about hope and transformation. And I'm just glad. Let me see if I have any more comments. Okay.
Well, if I just comment on the person who sent in the comment,
Yeah.
you know, I've often found, and you probably know this, when people are grieving or if they have a friend that's had a loss and they don't know how to deal with that person, I always say the best thing we need information. You know, we need information about whatever it is that we're going through, and to reach out and access that information is so important. And there's so much available on the internet now. And I know sometimes that can be hard to navigate, but when they find somebody like you, Robin, that, you know, maybe they can, you know, focus on you and what type of resources, because it's specific to that loss. I think that's a really great thing that people can access that. So we need information. And
Absolutely.
so important to find that information and find those people who can help you find that information, because it could be overwhelming.
Right. No, absolutely, Linda. Thank you for saying that. And yeah, Stephanie said it's very shocking. And Stephanie, you know, you could please go to my website, www.robinchodak.com. You can download a free guide to help you get started on your journey, because this is affecting you. I mean, it's just not the immediate family. You said a friend. It's when one person dies by suicide, it affects many people. Okay. And loss, we know this, Linda. Loss, you know, just doesn't always affect the one person. So Stephanie, it's important that you know, seek the help that you need and take care of yourself. And that's why, again, why we want to have this cruise, because my message too is about helping people get unstuck. Okay, because oftentimes we get stuck in grief and then we can't live a life we love. Well, you know what I'm doing here? I'm gonna just show me big on, oops, sorry, I'm gonna show me big on the screen, because this is what I'm doing. I'm sitting in my backyard. When I get the opportunity to get into nature and to get into the backyard, and I hear the birds right now. Thank you, God, for those birds. They're singing beautifully. I mean, it's so healing. Okay, but this is something I do for myself. It's self-care. It's what I need to do to take care of myself, and this is what we all need to be doing. Okay, especially when we're grieving, we need to be giving ourselves care and loving ourselves. And this cruise is going to offer a lot of opportunity to do that for us. So, oh, we have another guest. Hello, Christina. Christina's with us. And so, Christina, you're just coming in. We're talking about an upcoming cruise. I'm here with Linda Findlay. Findlay, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And she is the founder of Journeys of Hope, Healing, and Health. And this is the third bereavement cruise they're putting on. And I'm so excited to be one of the presenters. And Linda, where are they departing from? Can you tell us?
Yes, they're departing out of Cape Canaveral, Florida. So if you're not in Florida, the arrival city would be Orlando. And we're going to be departing on March 3rd until the 10th. And we have 3 ports of calls that we'll be visiting. We're going to go to Labadee, which is a private island owned by Royal Caribbean, which is absolutely beautiful. We'll be going to Jamaica, and then we'll be going to Cozumel. And there are 3 full days that we'll be out to sea. And on those days out to sea, that's when we'll be holding all of our workshops and seminars. And then we will also have nightly groups where people can come together, and our presenters will be holding what we're calling circles of hope. So each of those circles of people will be small groups specific to a type of loss or a manner of death, so that we can really provide that one-on-one depending on what the loss is. Because as you know, losses are very different. If it was your husband, if it was your child, if it was a friend. And so we're going to hopefully fill that need to get that one-on-one with our guests at night. And then we also, one of the most special events that we hold on the cruise is we do a night of remembrance. And what we do is a little remembrance ceremony. We actually do a walk to remember on top deck under the stars, which is absolutely beautiful. And there's no real words to describe how wonderful that is and most importantly, we're honoring our loved ones and doing this. Not only we're taking care of ourselves, hopefully getting the support that we need. And also I call support lifelines to healing. And I believe that we need those lifelines to help us heal. And so those types of support that you can access will provide that. And then it's honoring the person who's died, and amongst other people, and not being afraid to speak their name or to talk about them. So there's so much involved that really does help people being in a group of others who are grieving. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds wonderful, Linda. And and Christina's here with us, and I know she lost her son to suicide. And oh, Christina, I'm so sorry. I can't even imagine losing a child. And like you said, Linda, it's different. Every loss is different, and you may still be in shock, Christina, but I'm glad you're here, and this is just something for you to consider. Okay, and there will be other presenters there, I know, that have lost children. Okay, and suicide is different, and we know that there's a stigma around that and so forth, but I can help you talk about the suicide in that respect. So you'll have, there'll be a variety of topics, a variety of people. So I think that, it's going to be good for everyone. And Linda, will there be opportunities? Could people outside of the cruise, let's say they wanted to get some coaching sessions or counseling, that can be arranged outside of the cruise, right? Or
you mean before or after the cruise?
Yeah, I mean, they could, even during the cruise, if someone needed some support, they could work with somebody one-on-one.
During the cruise, we have done that. We've provided that one-on-one. We've had some scenarios where people really, really needed that. And I think all of our presenters in the past, and I'm sure going forward in the future, that's what they want to do. They want to be there for people. So, I mean, there was incidences that a couple of us just sat with a couple and talked to them. Maybe went to lunch with them or met them for breakfast the next morning or met in the lounge that night. I mean, that's again, all part of it. Is that you can receive as much support as you feel that you need. You can participate in the things that you feel you want to participate in. You don't have to participate in everything, although I have to tell you, based on the last 2 cruises, our group tends to want to be with us. And so we've tended to do everything together. And, some people go off to lunch, some people go on an excursion. So, I mean, that's another really beautiful thing about it, is that we are available the entire time. Obviously, we all need to sleep at night, but as far as being there to be available to support our guests, that's exactly what we're there to do. Willing.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. I had to leave my haven. It's starting to rain.
Oh no! Oh dear.
I had to leave outdoors. I'm going to come in right now, and
well, that was an easy transition.
Yeah, we can still see the beautiful green trees. The green is so healing. I just well, that's the other thing about being on the cruise. I mean, being around water. The energy of the water, it's transformative. Actually, that's where I had my transformation, walking on the beach for years, trying to figure things out after I lost my husband to suicide. But that's when the transformation came, and it was being around water. You have to be around water. And so,
about that on the ocean, there really is, and the sunsets and the sunrises and everything in between. There's a lot to be said about that. Beautiful scenery and beaches, and it's just a wonderful, I think, combination of, location and opportunity for people to really experience. I think it's an experience of a lifetime. I truly do. And I've had a lot of people who've gone on our past cruises have said exactly that it was just an experience of a lifetime that they'll never forget. And they found it to be the most helpful thing that they had done up to that point. Actually, we've been told.
Wow.
So, yeah. And I'm so anxious for you to experience it too, Robin, because I can't give you enough words to let you know how wonderful and beautiful it really is. You really do have to experience it. There's no words to completely give any justice to what it really, really is for people.
Sure. Yeah. And that's why, I wanted you to come on, Linda, today, and especially my support group, the people that are here that have lost loved ones to suicide. And I believe that when, they can begin to think about it now. And if it's not this year, it will be next year. It'll be sometime, because, that's really what the goal is. The goal is to help. That's my goal. And that's what yours is too. I love what you said. I'm going to read it, because you said, your highest honor is to enter people's lives and help make a difference. I love that, Linda. And, it's what I feel too. I always said, if I could just help one person, get unstuck and really begin to love their life again, that makes all the difference in the world. That brings me joy. And then I realized I needed to expand that horizon, because I want to help more than one person.
That's right. And I think that those of us that do this type of work, like you said, we want to help as many people as we can. And we know we can't take their grief away. We know we can't change it or make it feel any better. But again, we have we have tools, we have experience, we have things that we can share with them that can help them make the difference, to go into one direction maybe as opposed to another direction. And so, and I've often said, and as what your husband probably is for you, I often said that my life work is my daughter's legacy. And if I hadn't have lost her, obviously I would take her back in an instant if that was, an option. But if I hadn't have lost her, there's no way, shape, or form that I would have gone down this road. I can't even imagine how that could have happened. And so it's been kind of bittersweet through the years, because I've had my moments with, well, I'm helping all these other people, but yet I lost my daughter. I mean, so it's always going to be there in some way. We don't just forget our losses and get over them and be done with them. You carry them with you, and you figure out how to do that. And again, that's what we can help people with, is to help them figure out how are they going to go on with their lives, with their losses becoming a part of who they are, in a positive way, not even in a negative way, but in a positive way, because that's all we're left with, is the choice to do that. And we can help people to make that choice for themselves.
Right. And I always say, it's important for, especially for me in the beginning, Steve, when you lose someone to suicide, it's like they are defined by that act. And that's what they're initially remembered by. And it's very important to begin to identify them in a different way. That's not who they were, okay? They didn't take their life because of anything that we had done or anyone else had done. They took their life because they were in so much pain, okay? It was one moment in time, but that doesn't identify who they were up to that point, okay? And so it's hard. And I know the people that are here, they know this, and they're walking through it. There's someone else that just joined us, Sharon. She lost her husband 5 years ago. Something you'll never recover from. Well, it's like we're talking about, you move to a different level. And what I like to say is we learn to integrate the pain into our lives. Okay, you can integrate it into your life, but you can also, it's like you're not going to see it at the moment, but you can live a life that you love. You can love your life. And that's what I'm doing. And that's what I teach. And that's transformation. You can learn to love your life. And you put it so well, Linda, about, if you didn't lose your daughter, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing. It's the same for me. I wouldn't have changed my whole life. I wouldn't have changed careers. I wouldn't have done this. It's those experiences. But I look at my life now, and I believe that I am a better person. I'd like to believe that. Well, I know I'm definitely more compassionate, more empathetic. I mean, that's just something that came with the transformation, Yeah. And I like to keep thinking that I can just keep becoming better and evolved, and, less judgment, and, more apt to continue to spread love, okay, and help others. And that's why I really resonated with this cruise, because it just is doing all of those things. In my opinion, that's what it appears to be doing. And it's a beautiful thing. And I think that, the more that know about it, the more people will come if they're able.
Well, that's one of my goals, and I know as well as Glenn's goals, that we want to create awareness of this cruise, because that's one thing that, if we don't create awareness, nobody's going to be able to find us. So by, partnering with our presenters like yourself, and working with you to help spread the word and share the information, that's just going to help us to continue to create awareness of there is this type of event that people can choose to participate in. And so that's our hope, is to grow our program, provide this cruise every year, maybe every 18 months, if not every 12 months, and just continue to build the people who are going to find us and go along with us.
Right.
That's what we're hoping.
Yes. Well, I think that's, we let everyone know. So those of you who are watching now, thank you for joining us today, and continue to, follow me on my suicide page. You can find me on Twitter. I'm on Instagram, and my website. Everything is on my website. It's robinchodak.com. It's easy. And I'll have information about the cruise on there. And actually, I could put it right here. So if you wanted to go to that right now, you could sign up if you're interested. And this is not committing to anything, right, Linda? Just
right.
Doing this form. It's just, it's just going to be showing that they're interested, correct?
Correct. That we would receive that form, and that it's not a reservation. It's just, it comes to our registration page, but it isn't an official reservation. I call every single person that does send in one of those registration forms, and then we just answer any questions they may have. Certainly, it's important to me that everybody make a decision of what's best for them, of whether or not to attend and join us. But I just think it's important we give them all the information, and then they can take that and decide if it's something that's for them. Yeah. And I think that one-on-one interaction too is good. We're not just people here taking reservations. We're actually talking to each person that calls us or sends in the registration form. And I think that in and of itself has been a wonderful opportunity for people to just connect and talk about their loved ones, because they're calling because they lost somebody and they've seen this and they need more information. So just it becomes the beginning of the process of them, making the choice to join us on the next cruise. So they're certainly not obligated, but we'll answer any questions that they have.
Yes, yes. Okay, well, thank you, Linda. I really appreciate you taking your time.
Thank you.
I'm glad we had this opportunity, and we'll stay in touch, and I can't wait to meet you.
Yes, I feel the same. It'll be here before you know it, Robin, that I can tell you. 6 months is just going to kind of fly by, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But we'll be in touch, I'm sure.
Okay, Linda. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.